With our advisory or homeroom scheduled for the first 8 days of the 2016-17 school year, I figured our first meeting should be a virtual one to make sure that anybody who's interested in joining the club, wants to continue membership, or has questions about whether or not probation or suspension takes effect. So this presentation is to help you get to know us a little bit better. The advisory letters were delivered between August 17th and August 19th to all grades 9 through 12. So if you didn't get a letter in your advisory, but you're pretty sure that you qualified for Rock Hill High School Beta Club, make sure that you have a GPA, a weighted GPA of 3.75 or higher. If you do qualify for membership and you did not get a letter, don't worry about it. Just have your counselor email us and email either Ms. Tucker or Ms. Spivak to verify that you've got it. You can also bring us a transcript. And then all you have to do is go through the Rock Hill High School Beta Club blog, and I'll show you that in just a second, and download the member info sheet and resolve your dues. We sent letters to everyone, to new members, to current members who were active as of June of last year, and to any members who didn't quite meet their requirements from last year, or who may be on academic probation. Now, the difference between suspension and probation: suspension means you're sitting out for the entire school year. So that means the next time that you'd be eligible is in the 2017-2018 school year. So any senior who received a suspension letter wouldn't be eligible to earn the Beta Club cord for graduation. A probation, on the other hand, is only for academics. Suspensions could be not having the charity or fundraiser or your service hour, or you were already on probation for academics. So this is more than one thing. Probation is only academics. So if at the end of the school year your GPA dropped below a 3.75 weighted, then you need to make sure that you bring it up no later than the end of first semester this school year. If not, then you sit out. You would be suspended. So we do have a lot of resources available to you, and if you're not sure where to find them, you can always ask Miss Tucker. I'm in room A230, or Miss Spivak. She used to be Miss Henderson. She's in A231. We're neighbors upstairs, and we're both sponsors of the Rock Hill High School Beta Club. But the first place to go, if you're not sure, is if you go to the Rock Hill High School website and you click on school info. Right there is clubs. And you can find us in the list on the left-hand side. I think it's kind of cut off on the video. But in the middle of our page are two links. This is to the National Beta Club office, and then you'll see the link to our blog. So when you click on the blog, this is all the information that you'll see. I'm going to go back to the presentation for just a sec. What you want to pay attention to on the blog are three specific pages. Pretty much everything on there kind of overlaps for information, but member info and service info are the places you're going to spend the most amount of time on. Member info includes meeting minutes, so if you can't be at a meeting, you want to make sure that you read the minutes so that you stay updated. Member info also includes the Constitution and bylaws, which on the member information sheet that you sign when you become a member, you agree to the terms in the Constitution and the bylaws. So I highly recommend that each of you read the Constitution and bylaws before you decide to renew or continue your membership or to become a new member. The Service Info tab has a couple of different options for you, and then the Notes from the Sponsor has more information about our club. So I'm going to go back to the blog. On the Notes from the Sponsor at the very bottom, what I want to point out to you are the resources available for the club. The Facebook group, it's not very active. It used to be more so, but now that everybody's using Snapchat and everything else, it's available, but it's members only. In other words, parents, public, it's not accessible to you. The club calendar, however, is a public Google search. So if you search by service.rhhs beta on any browser, Mozilla, Firefox, Bing, doesn't matter. If you search any of these, you're going to come up with our event calendar, and it looks a little bit like this. And you can get to more information on the calendar just by clicking an event. We are on Instagram. and I've already mentioned the meeting minutes to you. Now, Remind is the text message service. If you don't have unlimited texting, I do not recommend getting SMS texts, but you could download the app. That's free, and the messages are free through the app as well. This is the number that you would use as the telephone number, and this is the code. You want to make sure that you include that @ sign before the code, otherwise it won't work. We are also on Twitter. And then the last one that I wanted to point out is YouTube. We do have a YouTube channel. So rather than answer any questions about how do I sign up for events, or how do I check my hours, or how do I know how to learn use the calendar, you want to make sure that you check out the YouTube channel for the how-to videos that we created last year. A link to the YouTube channel is also on our Twitter page. On the service calendar, there's a couple of things that we did to update it this year. We've added codes. Now, one of the requirements of being a member is that you participate in at least one charity, one fundraiser, and one event per semester on top of earning your service hours. So you want to make sure that you do hit those requirements. And in order to help make sure that you are keeping up with it, we've changed it a little bit to include codes. So charity, any event that counts as a charity credit, is going to have a C in parentheses in front of the name of the event. Fundraisers will have an F, and events will have an E. So on top of earning your service hours and maintaining your GPA, you want to make sure that you hit those requirements, otherwise you won't be an active member of the club. Your 2016-17 officers are Jazz Jackson, our chapter president, Natalie Smith, our vice president, Tina Pham, our secretary, Erica Nestori, our treasurer, and Jackie Rivera, our historian. And then we have lots of committees. Some of the committees are open to multiple members, so if you're interested in joining a committee, I'll have a little bit more information about that. Beth Dickerson and Sterling Smith, they are the membership committee co-chairs, and they will be in charge of updating your hours. They work alongside Tina Pham to do the outside hours, update the roster, and just kind of keep that end of the club working. Daniel Jones and Jennings Modla are the convention committee co-chairs. They will be recruiting members, but not until a little bit later on in the semester. And that's for the state and national conventions. This year our national convention is in Orlando, and so in early October we'll have a convention night that gives you more information on that. Now, Madison Reed is not pictured, but Georgia Modla and Madison Reed are the charity committee co-chairs, and they kind of help us coordinate how we give back to the community and the efforts that we do. Skylar Groves and Anna Goldstein, they are the service committee co-chairs. They are the ones that you talk to when you register for an event. Do not talk to them directly. You want to always register through service.rhhsbeta@gmail.com. Just like Beth and Sterling, you always want to use membership.rhhsbeta at gmail.com. They're not going to respond to you if you just pass them in the hallway and say, hey, Skylar, I need to sign up for Paint the Rock. She's going to tell you, send her an email. So we keep a track of everything that everybody sends us so that we're able to best serve you. Dane Tanis and Rachel Rodriguez are our events and entertainment co-chairs, and Emily Greer and Emmy James are the publicity co-chairs. And quite honestly, without the co-chairs and the officers, there's not really much Miss Spivak and I could do. So the two committees that are currently looking for members are events and entertainment and publicity. Events and entertainment are the people who help design our club t-shirt. They also help design our convention t-shirt, and they also keep us going. In other words, they're going to design what the induction looks like, and they're also in charge of our school spirit nights. So the sports that we go to, they're listed on the calendar with an E beside it, and they are the check-ins. So what they're looking for is to add people to their committee to check in. If you are the check-in, you earn an hour of service time. Anybody who attends an event that night, you collect the names, you send it to membership. Everybody who attends gets a half an hour, but you get an hour. So if you're interested in joining the Events and Entertainment Committee, I encourage you to see Dane or Rachel. Publicity is just that. It helps us promote our club in the yearbook. and the Garnet Black and Gold, as well as on Twitter, on Instagram, and we have a scrapbook. And we also this year our club historian Jackie is helping us compete at the state convention in scrapbook as well. So we need a lot of photos. We need a lot of coverage. And as active and as creative and talented as these ladies are, they need your help. We're just so involved that they can't do it themselves. So if you're interested in joining the publicity committee, again, you wouldn't necessarily serve on that event. You would go to the event and take photos for it. So you would earn an hour of service for each time you go to take photos, but you wouldn't be serving on the event. So, for example, every Paint the Rock, I'm already there, so I'm taking pictures. You wouldn't necessarily cover Paint the Rock, but if you're there for 10 minutes, or you're there for 45 minutes, or you're there for an hour and a half, you earn an hour of service and you help out our club on the publicity side. So this is Emmy James, Jackie Rivera, and Emily Greer. If you're interested in joining the publicity committee, I encourage you to see one of them. They'll just email they'll email membership and let us know you've joined. Now, the upcoming events that we have, obviously your go-to is always going to be the calendar. The calendar is updated sometimes on a daily basis. So as soon as we have approval for events from Mr. All, then we add them to the calendar. So we may have a lot of events that our officers or co-chairs know about, but you don't see them on the calendar until we actually get approval for them, whether they're a fundraiser or we need to borrow the facility or anything like that. So the August 29th through September 2nd, this is a charity drive competition that benefits the Pilgrims Inn, and Jazz mentioned it a little bit in her blog post this month. This is against South Point High School Beta Club. So what we're doing is a competition just between the members of the two clubs, and we'll have a list of items that the Pilgrims Inn needs to fill their pantry, to help people in the community, and as many members as we can get to help us beat South Point. That'd be awesome, because I'm all about bragging rights. September 9th, the Friday of the week of Labor Day. That's when the deposit for the Leadership Summit is. If you want more information on the Leadership Summit, please stop by and see me, Miss Tucker, in A230 or Miss Spivak in A231. The Leadership Summit is usually called the Great Wolf Lodge Trip because that's where it's held, at the Great Wolf Lodge. There is a competition. There's two competitions, a service snapshot and a rapid response. And if you qualify at the Leadership Summit, you could be eligible to compete at Nationals. There's also the water park. So if you are interested in going, the total cost for the trip is already on the calendar. If you click the link on the calendar, either for the deposit due date or for the trip itself, which is October 11th and 12th, you will find out more information. September Paint the Rock, that's PTR. We still have 7 spots available, and the week of the induction will be Rush Week. So we'll have more information on that, or you can also check out the calendar. So I hope you guys are off to a great school year. I apologize that we couldn't actually meet you face to face, but I'm hoping this will help. And don't forget, the membership deadline to renew is 2 p.m. on Thursday, September the 15th. If you don't renew or join by then, it will close for the year. If you have any questions, you can just email service, membership, or stop by and see Miss Spivak or myself. Take care.